Hey everyone, today we're talking about the Orion anamorphics from Atlas Lens Company. All right, Josiah, so let's break this down. Let's go from the beginning. How did this all come about using the Orion anamorphics for our short film?
Last June, we actually went down to Burbank for Reducation to learn a bit more about red cameras and how we can maximize our quality. One of those days, we ended up going to Wednesday Lens Day at Atlas Lens Company. And so they hosted this open house, and they do this every week. It's free if you're in LA or nearby. They'll just bring out a bunch of cameras, a bunch of their lenses. They'll bring people to speak. We get to see a lot of really cool lenses. The Orion anamorphic series, which is a super 35mm 2x anamorphic. So just get a really wide image out of those. And then they also have the Mercury series, which is their full frame. And we got to see just the amazing quality of these lenses, especially for the price when you compare them to Panavision or Cooke. 8,000 to 10,000 as opposed to hundreds of thousands of dollars almost. It makes a big difference, and it makes things a lot more accessible to get that kind of quality. And I'm not gonna say it's a low budget lens, because it's not. That's not within most people's budget, but it's much more affordable than the alternatives in Hollywood cinema. So basically, we just kind of established the basis of a relationship there. We had a good time talking and hanging out and learning about their lenses. And then fast forward a month or so, we were in the prep stages of our 5-day short film challenge. Threw around the idea of getting some kind of sponsorship, of talking to a lens company, see if we could borrow some lenses that we could use. We reached out to Atlas as kind of like a pie in the sky, along with a couple of other more low budget options. And Atlas is actually the only one who ended up wanting to sponsor this. So they let us use a set of 3 lenses, which came in super handy and just gave us an amazing look for our film.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as we were preparing to do this 5-day film challenge, part of the challenge was asking ourselves, yes, we want to make this film in a short period of time, but what can we do to elevate the story outside of the tools we already had, the creativity and the storytelling, the talent, inevitably that was part of the project. And just looking back at, our choice of lenses, one, shooting anamorphic, which was something new for Nick Alexander Films for any project really, but in this case for narrative. What were some of your initial impressions of the lenses and the challenges you saw going into filming?
From the start, it was obvious these lenses would be a challenge just because of their size. The Orion series are huge lenses. They're massive. They're close to the size of our cameras. It's a bulky lens. It adds a lot of weight. The focus throw is really large. Coming up to it, realizing we were getting these lenses, we realized we needed to have the proper filtration for them, which we didn't have a setup for. The largest matte boxes that we had a 95mm diameter, I believe, and the Orion lenses required 114mm. So just in order to filter these lenses properly, we had to invest in a really nice matte box from Bright Tangerine, along with a really sweet variable ND filter that really came in handy when we were filming in the bright sun in the woods there.
Yeah, I think there was definitely some additional accessories that maybe originally we, hadn't really thought too much about. I think we were just all so amazed that Atlas would grant us this amazing opportunity to borrow their lenses, which, we got the filtration, we got the variable ND, we did what we needed to do. But now talk us through, we're on set, it's Tuesday, we're filming in the van, we're filming on the road in different situations. What were some of those challenges and opportunities that you had with these lenses?
When we were setting things up on the first day of filming, I think everybody was really excited. I was incredibly excited to have the opportunity to use these as the director of photography on this project. I've never had access to lenses that nice before. And while I really like the lenses we have and the lenses I use in my own projects, it was just really cool to have something different and exciting that was just really high quality. And after I'd seen what I'd got in my test shots, I was even more excited, just ready to see what things would look like when we got it all together. On that first day, we definitely spent a while just getting things set up in the way that we wanted it to be. We ended up using a shoulder kind of rig for most of the film. A lot of difficult time was spent in a hot van. It wasn't really possible to just lock the shot on a tripod. We had to kind of roll with the punches there and maximize our ability to move around and get the shots as quickly as possible, just because of our time limitations. The other thing that happened is, as I was shooting, I was just kind of blown away by the images that we were getting right out of the camera. I could see like such a cool thing coming together right away. And I think the look honestly influenced a lot of the way that I ended up filming the rest of the short. In those first couple hours with it, I realized there's a real strong feeling that you get from a different look of lens. Like, I think the Orions just have a lot of character. You have a lot of those imperfections in a way that's designed. It's not an accident that it's not a perfectly sharp image, and I think it just renders things differently. And so I was really, really happy with how things were coming together. It just made me feel like, oh, this is a real short film. Like, people are gonna see this and be like, you guys made this in 5 days here in Southern Oregon? Yeah,
I know for me, one of the instances that I recall was we're on the highway there, and we were filming this interaction with the hitchhiker and the farming couple. And I remember looking over your shoulder at the shot of Sophia, the hitchhiker, and immediately, you know, just this wide, beautiful image that I could see. I think I told you or someone on set, I said, like, that, this looks cinematic. And, you know, we throw that term around all the time, but for the first time, like, I really felt like the definition of cinematic was there in the shot. It was, of course, like, we had a wonderful crew and cast, and like, we were using the same, you know, red cameras, but then like that lens, just like you said, just really shaped the shot, and it influenced how we filmed every scene, which is interesting because, like, you know, we're accustomed to using like our Canon glass, which again does a lot of good things, but the Orion anamorphics, I think, changed how we filmed, and I was really impressed with the overall image quality. All right, so looking back at Seeds and filming with the Orion anamorphics, what would be your overall impression of these lenses?
It kind of feels silly to say, but in a way that's like my dream lens now. If I were in a financial position to invest in some nice anamorphic glass, I would definitely lean towards buying from Atlas Lens Company. I just really like the look of them. I think they really added a lot of quality to what we filmed. That kind of tells you all there is to know. Like, I would buy those in a heartbeat if I could. That's kind of a dream scenario, right? Like, when am I gonna have tens of thousands of dollars to spend on lenses? Hey, who knows, maybe someday.
I think what we've learned from this project and working with these anamorphic lenses is that the lens does a lot. Yes, the camera body is important, and we love shooting with red cameras, but ultimately the lens shapes the shot. It shapes the image, and in many ways will shape the story. And so I think moving forward here at Nick Alexander Films, you know, we are now considering, you know, anamorphics for select projects in the commercial space, where, you know, before we shot with the same lenses, and now I feel like my mind has just been opened up to new ways of filming a story. And, you know, hopefully in the future that is with Atlas. There's other options out there as well, but we're really appreciative of Atlas Lens Company to give us this opportunity to do something new with their lenses, and huge shout out to their team. Like you said, Josiah, I mean, this was a dream lens type of opportunity.
And shout out to Hajun. I use that pocket slate all the time, by the way. It's come in handy on multiple occasions. Image quality isn't just about perfection and a clear, sharp image. It's also about what's the tone and what's the vibe, what's the feel of a story, and how can you capture that in a way that makes sense. So sometimes what we usually use are these Canon zoom lenses. Sometimes that's what makes sense. Other times you specifically want to use a really long lens to capture that kind of compression, that really shallow depth of field. Other times you need that deep focus, or sometimes you just need to capture more things in detail. Your lenses are so important to the final image of a film. How are you going to capture something, and what's the right lens for the job? So it's fun to just have that to consider in the future.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, they're all tools, right? I mean, whether it's a light, it's a camera, it's a lens, they're tools that we employ to tell a story. And that's what makes it, I think, our job so special is we have equipment, we have creativity, and then we get to, you know, mix it up and figure out like what's the best tool for this job. For seeds, it was the Orion anamorphics. That was definitely the best tool that we had at that moment. In the future, you know, we'll see. Well, thanks so much again for watching our video. Huge shout out to Atlas Lens Company for hooking us up with the Orion anamorphics. And if you're interested in watching our short film Seeds, check out the link below. It's in the description. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.